Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So today we're tackling something pretty much every homeowner bumps into eventually, but let's be honest, very few actually understand. We're talking about mastering small home repair projects using acrylic, or as you probably know it, Plexiglass. Whether you're trying to replace a broken window pane, build some slick custom shelving, or finally tackle that lingering weekend project, knowing the ins and outs of this material is going to save you so much time and money. Let's dive right in. Now, a huge shout out to our source for today's explainer, FIDAR System. They are a specialty plastic supplier, and they literally lay out exactly how this whole industry works. They've got this great service model for DIYers where you can just place your order online at fidarsystem.com. And hey, if you're in the Greater Toronto area, they've actually got a physical warehouse right in North York for same business day pickup. Oh, and they offer free shipping on your first order, plus any order over $700 Canadian dollars. Standard terms and conditions apply, of course. Having a local, specialized hookup like this, total game changer for DIY plastics, as you're going to see. Because think about it. How many times have you wandered into a big box hardware store, grabbed a flimsy, super overpriced piece of plastic, and then taken it home only to absolutely fight with it? You try to score it, you try to snap it, and boom. Jagged edges, cracked plastic everywhere. It is literally a DIY nightmare. You end up with ruined material and just straight up wasted cash. So step one to avoiding that whole mess is just knowing exactly what material you're actually holding.
Let's get the terminology straight real quick. Plexiglass is one of those words we all just throw around, kind of like saying Kleenex or Band-Aid, right? But Plexiglass is really just the common everyday brand name for clear acrylic. If we want to get super technical about it, it's polymethyl methacrylate, or PMMA for short. So when you're Googling for local plastic suppliers, those pros know you're actually hunting for acrylic sheet. But, and this is absolutely crucial, not all acrylic is created equal.
Honestly, the biggest decision you're going to make here is choosing between cast and extruded acrylic. Basically, cast acrylic is actually poured into glass molds and cured really slowly. What does that mean for you? Well, it gets you a much harder surface, incredibly tight thickness tolerances, and just premium crystal clear clarity. Extruded acrylic, on the other hand, is literally pushed through a die. Because they manufacture it that way, it's way more budget-friendly and awesome for high-volume general cutting, but it does have slightly looser thickness control. So if you need absolute optical perfection, you want cast. If you just need a cost-effective panel to get the job done, extruded is for sure your best bet.
And speaking of perfect optics, clear cast acrylic actually boasts a massive 92% light transmission. 92%! That means it is brilliantly clear. In fact, it's often clearer than standard glass, which, can kind of have that weird green tint to it. If you're putting together premium displays, swapping out the glass in a really high-end picture frame, or setting up overhead glazing where you want maximum natural sunlight without the heavy weight and shatter risk of real glass, that 92% transmission rate gives you total safety without sacrificing the look.
All right, let's talk about the bottom line, because money matters, right? Looking at some real Canadian pricing data for standard 4x8 foot sheets, the difference is wild. An 1/8-inch thick sheet of extruded clear acrylic will run you around $70. But if you bump up to cast clear at just slightly thicker dimensions like 3/16 or 1/4 inch, that price jumps to $116 or even $145. So if you're doing simple fabrication where premium optical perfection isn't strictly necessary, just asking for extruded acrylic can literally cut your material cost in half, just like that.
Okay, so remember that scoring and snapping nightmare we talked about earlier? Well, here is your silver bullet, the cut-to-size advantage. When you skip the big retail stores and go straight to a specialty distributor, they'll actually cut the material for you on a pro panel saw, or even a laser, to your exact dimensions. You walk away with perfectly clean, perfectly square edges that are ready to assemble right off the saw. And the best part? You only pay for the exact area you're using. You're not buying a massive sheet just to aggressively chop it down yourself. No ruined plastic, no wasted cash, and honestly, no more stressful weekends battling it out with a utility knife.
So what are we actually building with all this nicely cut material? Well, for real-world home applications, a huge one is counter guards or safe partitions. For those, you're usually using that thicker 4.3 to 5.5 millimeter cast acrylic, so it's super durable. But for aesthetics, think about creating floating retail-style shelves for your collectibles. It's also incredibly popular for safe glass replacement indoors. You get all the light with zero risk of shattered glass. And oh man, if you have access to a laser cutter, acrylic is literally the perfect blank canvas for custom decor.
Actually, speaking of laser projects, I've got an indispensable pro tip for you from James Parker. He's a Red Seal certified fabricator with 15 years in the game. He notes, Always choose cast acrylic for laser projects. Unlike extruded, it engraves to a crisp, clean white. And that right there solves such a common DIY trap. People buy the cheaper extruded stuff, throw it in their laser, and it just melts into this gooey, clear mess. But since cast acrylic is cured, it vaporizes super cleanly under the laser. You end up with this gorgeous frosty white finish every time.
All right, so now you know exactly what you need. How do you actually order it without sounding like a total rookie? Just use this quick 5-point checklist to get a fast, accurate quote from your supplier. Step 1. Specify your grade and color. So, cast or extruded, clear or colored. Step 2. Choose your thickness. Step 3. Give them the exact finished cut dimensions and quantity. Step 4. Tell them if you're picking it up or if you need it shipped. And Step 5. State your hard, in-hand deadline. Honestly, just bringing this simple checklist completely cuts out the back and forth and makes the whole process so smooth.
Wow, okay, we've covered a ton of ground in this explainer today, from the actual chemistry behind PMMA, right down to the serious cash you save with cut-to-size extruded sheets. So I want to leave you with this one final provocative thought. What's the one home project you've been putting off that a perfectly cut piece of acrylic could literally solve today? Is it a drafty window pane? Maybe a super cluttered display shelf? Because now that you've got the know-how and that handy supplier checklist, there is absolutely nothing stopping you. Get out there, start measuring, and bring those home repair projects to life. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy building!